Good morning, honorable delegates. Please take your seats. Honorable delegates, please come to order. Distinguished delegates, mic isn't working good today. I'm sorry. Honorable delegates, please come to order. We'll start our session right now. Honorable delegates, we'll start right now with the roll call. And if the mic doesn't work properly, we'll someone. Okay, so when the name of your country, please raise your flag and say you are present. Algeria. Present. Australia. Belarus. Belgium. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Cameroon. Present. Chad.
Present.
Chile. The delegation of Chile. China. Colombia. Czech Republic. France. Germany. Ghana. India. Iraq. Italy. Japan. Lebanon. Mexico. Norway. Peru. Russian Federation. Somalia. Somalia, South Africa, Spain, Sudan, Sweden, Turkey, United Kingdom, United States, Uruguay, Vietnam. Honorable delegates, so we have the quorum, and then let's declare this session open. So a round of applause. Honorable delegates, I would like to ask you, are there any points or motions on the floor? Let me explain to you the situation. We have two working papers which were submitted by the expert, and we now need some 5 or 10 minutes for just to get them printed. Okay? So, are there any points or motions on the floor? Belgium.
Motion to stop the.
Okay, that is in order. Are there any other points or motions? Seeing none. Are there any seconds for the motion proposed by Belgium? Are there any objections? Seeing none, so we are now in the unmoderated caucus for 10 minutes. Honorable delegates, the time for this moderated topic has elapsed, so please take your seats. Are there any points or motions on the floor to the delegates? House Africa? That is the order. Are there any other points or motions? Seeing none. United States.
Motion for moderate clauses for 15 minutes.
Okay, South Africa. Honorable delegates, actually, we don't need any more time since the working papers are here now. But we'll vote on the motions. Honorable delegations will withdraw any of the motions for 15 minutes or 10 minutes. Okay, so we'll now vote on the motion of the United States for a moderated focus for 15 minutes. Are there any seconds? Any objections? So none. Okay, so we're now in the unmoderated focus for 15 minutes.
Ну так ты можешь Давайте сделаем так, чтобы Сирия, Ливане, Ливия, остальных местах была бедна, а во Франции, Чили, в остальных, которые они все будут Ливане, и все будут куда ты побежала? Там где
слушай, у нас же Камерун делится на французскую часть и на английскую часть.
Камерун разделяется, можно разделить Камерун?
Да, у Камеруна внутренние проблемы. Объясни, пожалуйста, что коалиция ЮАР это. Я читала, даже переводил, ты понимаешь? Я тебе могу даже показать. Я сидел вчера час переводил, надо почитать, что здесь сейчас
Ой, передовые страны USA.
Хорошо, отношения не выделилось на штат. Ирландия,
А мы принимаем их себе.
ну вот знаешь, что сюда не поставил, это была самая идеальная идея, но ты я даже не читал коалицию и что, если была семья? Я вчера вам привезли в модели.
Ты про каникулы?
Я не скрываю пачек. Что я славлю? Это такой разговор.
Там миллионы человек находятся.
Смотри, Россия самая большая страна в мире, там
Экономические потребности, которые написаны Что работает? Что не работает?
нет, больше людей.
Смотря какие новости смотреть. Вот. Читаешь лайк какой-нибудь, это понятно.
Вчера пишет, что мы не входим в коалицию. Входит в коалицию Бельгии. Больше, чем все
Honorable delegates, the time for this moderate topic has elapsed, so please take your seats. Honorable delegates, please come to order. Distinguished delegates, please come to order. Thank you. Are there any points or motions on the floor? Belgium?
Our delegation suggests to prolong the unmoderated caucus for 15 more minutes.
The Presidium believes that it is unconstructive since we have these copies of the working papers, so I believe it will be more constructive to start presenting the working papers. Therefore, are there any other points or motions on the floor, Dana?
We insist on moderated focus for 10 minutes and 1.5 minutes for speaking.
On the topic of?
On the topic of our working papers.
We believe that this motion is unconstructive since you need to present your working papers. So we decline this motion. South Africa.
Honorable President, South Africa proposes a formal debate for 10 minutes about the working papers.
You mean formal debates on the topic of presentation of the working papers? That is, okay. And for how many minutes do you want to present one working paper?
2 minutes.
Maybe before?
For one delegation, 2 minutes.
Okay, so let me explain one thing. Right now, you are to present your working papers, so that will be, I suppose, more constructive if you presented that for some 3 or 4 minutes, and then you have 2 speeches for and 2 speeches against, okay? So, South Africa, what's your motion?
A motion for presenting working papers for 3 minutes because time for one delegate.
Okay, and speeches for and against for how many minutes?
2 minutes. 2 minutes for
2 minutes for and 2 minutes against.
for one delegation to speak for and speak against.
Okay, and to present working papers 3 minutes. Okay, so this is a motion raised by South Africa in order to present working papers, 3 minutes for presentation and 2 minutes for speeches for and against. And we will have 2 speeches for and 2 speeches against. Is that clear to the committee? Okay, so are there any seconds to this motion? Are there any objections? Okay, we're now in the voting procedure. Those who vote in favor of this motion, please raise your placards and keep them high. Those who are against. Honorable delegates, I would like to remind you that you cannot abstain. This is a procedural motion. Therefore, we'll now have to re-vote. So those who vote in favor of this motion. Those who are against. Honorable delegates, one more time, those who have not voted right now, you are to vote for or to vote against. You cannot abstain. Please, we have to re-vote one more time. Those who vote in favor of this motion. Those who are against. Okay, so this motion clearly passes. And right now, we'll consider working paper number 1. On the South Africa, what do you have? Wait a minute. So we'll first consider working paper number 1 with the authors Republic of South Africa, Vietnam, Lebanon, Spain, Iran, Ghana, Japan, Peru, Cameroon, Italy, India, Australia. Honorable delegates, would like to tell you that the delegation of Algeria is the author only of the second working paper. So please note that. And Uruguay is the author of the first working paper. And Okay. And right now, I would like to yield the floor to our honorable expert, who will read out loud the first working paper.
The Economic and Social Council, guided by the main principles of the United Nations Charter, in particular by those which appeal to establishing friendly relations among nations and for cooperation in solving problems, reaffirming that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights, and that everyone is entitled to all rights and freedoms set out therein without distinction of any kind, in particular as to race, color, or national origin, reaffirming the UN General Assembly Resolution 422 of 14 December 1950, 4144 of 13 December 1985, 54-166 of 24 February 2000, 56-170 of 28 February 2002, 59-194 of 20 December 2004, 66-172 of 19 December 2011, 68-4 of 3rd October 2000, 13, 69, 167 of 18 December 2014, 70, 147 of 17 December 2015, 71, 237 of 21st December 2016, 71, 1 of 19 September 2016, 71, 248 of 21 December 2016. Recording its resolutions 5592 of 4th December 2000, 59 241 of 22nd December 2004, 6870 of 9 December 2013, 68 273 of 27 December of 2013, 71 257 of 23rd December 2016. Reaffirming that everyone had the right to liberty of movement and residence within the borders of each state and the right to leave any country, including his own, and to return to his country. Reaffirming the outcome of the document of the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development and its commitment to the 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development. Reaffirming the importance of the United Nations Convention against Transnational Organized Crime, recalling the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, the Declaration on the Right to Development. Considering that the assessments of member states contained in the report of the Secretary General and the international meeting of experts have contributed to a better understanding of the substances of issues of international informed security and related matters, bearing in mind that the Secretary General in fulfillment of the UN General Assembly Resolution 6624 of the 2nd December 2018, on the basis of equitable geographical distribution, established a group of governmental experts which, in accordance with its mandate, considered existing and potential threats in the sphere of information security and possible cooperative measures to address them, including norms, rules, or principles of responsible behavior of states and confidence-building measures in information space, and conducted a study on relevant international concepts aimed at strengthening the security of global information and telecommunication systems. Condemning the increasing number of acts of violence, including sexual and gender-based violence deliberately directed against civil pollution, in many cases against children. Concerned about the even increasing number of immigrants getting into terror situations during attempted crossing international borders without any travel documents, and recognizing the obligation of states to respect the human rights of those immigrants. Strengthening the penalties and treatment that illegal immigrants are exposed to should be commensurate with the infection, recognizing the change of transit and destination countries under international human rights law, stressing the importance of regulations and laws regarding illegal immigrants at all levels of government being in accordance with the obligations of states under international law, including international human rights law. Stressing also the obligation of states to protect the human rights of migrants regardless of their immigration status, and expressing and canceling all measures which, including those in the context of politics aimed at reducing irregular immigration, treat irregular immigration as a criminal rather than administrative offense, or the effect of doing so is to deny migrants the full enjoyment of their human rights and fundamental freedoms. fully aware that criminals put migrants into perilous situations by surmounting the restrictive border control, emphasizing the importance of promoting dignified treatment with efficient protection and access to basic services. Underline the necessity of consistent approach to migrants, particularly women and children, emphasizing the importance of international cooperation and dialogue to protect migrants. Underlining the importance of creation and conditions that foster greater harmony, tolerance, and respect between migrants and the rest of society in the states in which they reside. Determined to ensure respect for the human rights and fundamental freedoms of all migrants. Stressing the importance of undertaking information campaigns in order to enable everyone to make informed decisions and to prevent everyone from utilizing dangerous means of transport across international borders. Stressing the importance of inclusiveness within the United Nations development system, and that no one is left behind and no country is left behind in the implementation of present resolution. Encourages not only to focus on the symptoms of illegal migration and refugee laws, but also that the root causes that force people to leave their places of permanent residence at the risk of finding themselves in even worse conditions. Takes note of the report of the Secretary General in the United Nations Summit for Refugees and Migrants on 19 September 2016. Urges all states and non-state actors engaged in problems with migrants to fully respect the guiding principles of humanity, neutrality, and impartiality, as well as principle of independence. Notes with satisfaction the United Nations began the campaign devoted to the displacement of large groups of refugees and migrants and represents a historic opportunity to develop more effective international measures. The campaign plays an important role in optimizing the management of international migration and a unique opportunity to create a more responsible and predictable response system for the movement of large groups of refugees and migrants. Supports preparation for the adoption in 2018 of two global treaties, and one on refugees and the other on safe, orderly, and regulated migration. Urged NGOs to participate in the solution of migration process, welcome the member states and various humanitarian organizations to widely promote the importance of charity and its results via the mass media events. Urged their creation of a weekly television program to raise the awareness of the tragedies and problems of migrants, refugees, and asylum seekers by the Mediterranean basin. Encouraged to make the procedure of taking treaty maximally broad, transparent, and comprehensive. Stresses the importance of giving priority to the extension of regular migration channels, including the creations of decent workplaces, ensuring mobility of the workforce, the recognition of educational and professional skills, and the development of alternative options for obtaining legal migrants status during the procedure of taking treaty. Strengthen the necessity of providing measures to facilitate the provision of public services to migrants and ensure access to such services in the countries of destination. Stresses that the conditions of the people in Syria is one of the harshest in the scale of global population displacement. Calls upon the need for urgent attention and action to that end. Urges to create special reports in member states, countries with special regulations to check the migrants' documents to allocate the migrants uninformed. Urges the forces of member states to follow the international humanitarian law. Urges to increase the amount of temporary transit camps for migrants where documents are being checked. Suggest to follow the Convention on Refugees of 28 of 1951 and to supply the member states' last system with more precise definitions to the migrant law. Stresses that the Mediterranean region plays a key role in the movement of large groups of refugees and migrants, which accelerates the complex nature and consequences of illegal migration. Calls upon humanitarian organizations to give high priority to the problem of trafficking in persons at an earlier stage, expresses with satisfaction the financial support provided by the USA, China, the UK, Sweden, and other countries to the states serving as the recipients of migrants. Encourages to put on as an important element of security the border control procedures in compliance with the relevant obligations under international law, including international human rights law and international refugee law, and in particular the principle of non-refoulement. calls upon member states, and in particular those of the Mediterranean region, to counteract acts and manifestations of racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance towards migrants by urgent acts of member states, civil society, regional and international organizations, and to the end, monitor the mass media, especially the internet, involve law reinforcement, develop an interstate program aimed at suppressing crimes of this kind. Encourages all member states to control its borders, abandon unilateral economic pressure, support processes of the search for a political solution to the Syrian crisis under the leadership of the Syrians themselves and without foreign interference, urges all member states to criminalize and investigate cases of slavery and ensure the investigation and punishment of those responsible. Calls for the creation and conduct of special training programs for border services in order to improve the effectiveness of borders control, appreciate the effort of the volunteers who provide assistance to refugees, calls upon protecting civilians and humanitarian workers in Syria, especially those who are part of the humanitarian task force of the International Syrian Support Group, note with satisfaction the expansion of innovative technical ideas aimed at improving living conditions and doing away with bureaucratic hurdles such as the use of biometrical scanners, which have massively simplified monetary issues for migrants in various European countries. Calls for using these devices in the countries which give pleasure to migrants admits the fact that sovereignty remains an untouchable frontier, protecting state interests from the encroaching intentions of the international community, and recognizes that the national government must always have the final say in any matter related to on-the-ground operations. Calls upon all member states, especially those involved in unconflict or post-conflict situations, to comply with their obligations under international humanitarian law, human rights law, and refugee law to fully cooperate with the United Nations and other humanitarian actors in protecting the safety and unhindered access of humanitarian personnel, as well as the smooth and timely delivery of supplies and equipment to assist affected populations, especially in regards to UN aid and voice. Stresses the need for any political process aimed at resolving the crisis in the Syrian Arab Republic to ensure credible and comprehensive accountability for violence of international humanitarian law and human rights violations and abuses committed in the country, and in order to bring about reconciliation and sustainable peace. Welcomes to efforts by member states to investigate and prosecute crimes within their jurisdiction committed in the Syrian Arab Republic in accordance with their national legislation and international law, and encourages other member states to consider doing the same and to share relevant information to that and with other states. Further, the United Nations system should continue to enhance existing capacities, knowledge, and institutions through the transfer of technology and data through the following methods: improving the technological environment, developing the capacity of technological stakeholders. Further encourages the expansion of preventive actions and assurance of post-conflict assistance through reconstruction and development of those nations affected by the conflict for them to have preventive measures for all participants and include scheduled meetings, clearly outline of the details of the job, include the scope of the work, key issues, potential problems, equipment access, personal access, and any important information. Have clear mechanism for analyzing how the work will impact other personnel and operations, additionally making sure proper communication channels and procedures are in place between participating parties. Encourages more non-profit and privately organized humanitarian efforts to focus their activity on aiding and enabling governments for increased synergy, support, and cooperation with the ultimate end of ensuring the long-term resilience for an affected country by creating stronger government, stronger communities, and a stronger relation between the two. Urges all civil societies to take part in events aimed at acquaintance with cultures of migrants living in the territory of the country and rendering them humanitarian assistance. Calls for the establishment of direct partnership between civil society structures, suggest changing the wages for jobless migrants welcomes further initiative on the issue.
So I guess we should give a round of applause to our honorable expert. Thank you, honorable expert. And right now there is a motion from the Presidium for a moderated caucus for 5 minutes. Are there any seconds to this motion? Actually, in order to clarify some points of this working paper. Are there any seconds to this motion? Okay. Any objections? Seeing none, right now in the unmoderated caucus for 5 minutes. Honorable delegation of South Africa, please come here.
Да, он сказал, что с нами.
У нас в прошлом году рабочий, то есть там тоже
All delegates, please take your seats. The time for this moderated caucus has elapsed. короче, когда мы голосовали,
Honorable delegates, please come to order. Right now, in the formal debates, please take your seats. Honorable delegation of Chad. Distinguished delegates, please come to order. And the delegation of Chad, your behavior does not correspond to the rules of procedure. This is the remark from the Presidium and from our Honorable Secretary General. Honorable delegates, there is also a remark from our honorable expert. In working paper 1, you might see this addendum 1. So we will not consider this part of the working paper. This is the decision of the Presidium. So therefore, this particular addendum is now, does not exist right now. Okay. Right now, we'll proceed with presentation of working paper 1. Are there any delegations wishing to present this working paper? South Africa. And we would also just establish delegations who will speak for and against this working paper. So are there any delegations who would like to hold speeches for this working paper? Vietnam and Lebanon. Are there any delegations who would like to speak against this working paper? The delegation of Chad. Okay. And right now, I would like to invite the delegation of South Africa here. So the delegation of South Africa will now have 3 minutes in order to present the working paper. Just a second. Okay, so the delegation of South Africa now we have 3 minutes in order to present the working paper. And honorable delegation, please bear in mind that delegations might want to ask you questions. So, President, you have 3 minutes.
Honorable delegates, the delegation of South Africa is thanking for you to take part in the procedure of making resolutions. In our opinion, our coalition starts to work on this working paper according to the main principles of the United Nations. We mean that all humans are born free and equal, and everyone is entitled to all rights and has all freedoms. That's why everyone has the right to move and change his location. That's why, according to this, in our opinion, the agenda which are faced today needs to be solved. In our opinion, all borders can be closed and they should stay open, but they should be legalized, and we should improve the system of borders. That's why our coalition suggests to open new ports where the migrants and refugees will be able to change their locations. Moreover, all states should improve the biometrical system to make the procedure of taking refugees to their countries more quicker. Then our delegation proposes all member states to work out the systems when they will be able to find out the problems which their country may stand to, and that's why they will work on it and prevent it on the earlier stages. Then the conflict, wars, and something like this starts. As you know that all states have different levels of their economy, political systems. That's why our delegation suppose that each state should take part in their decisions, and we shouldn't forget about their own systems. Moreover, our delegation is sure that the finances should be provided in such way. All states should have special systems. I mean that in regional level, in the level of non-government sectors, not only by the government finances. In our opinion, civilian societies should take part in the nations, because as we know that in some states the situation the economic situation is very low, so we can improve the situation. Moreover, in our opinion, all refugees should be provided with special camps, which will be built in safe conditions. As for education, each refugee has the right to have education, and this education should be.
Thank you, Honorable Delegation South Africa. The time now has elapsed, so you may take your seat. Are there any points or motions on the floor? Mexico? Unfortunately, the time now has elapsed, so if you have any motions, you may raise them. Peru. For how many minutes?
For 1.5 minutes.
Okay. Are there any other points or motions on the floor, chat?
Chair wants to along with the speaker for 3 minutes without right of prolongation.
Okay, 3 minutes. Honorable Delegation of Peru, do you consider these motions friendly? Okay, so are there any other points or motions on the floor? Seeing none, we'll consider the motion of the Delegation of Chad. The motion to prolong speaker's time for 3 minutes without the right of prolongation. Are there any seconds to this motion? Are there any objections? We'll now in the voting procedure, so those who vote in favor of this motion, please raise your placards and keep them high. Those who are against. And Honorable Delegation, those who abstain or not. Honorable Delegations, I would like to remind you that you cannot abstain. This is a procedural motion. So those delegations who haven't voted right now, we will now have to re-vote. Therefore, please, one more time, those delegations who are in favor of the those who are against. Okay, so this motion passes. And the delegation of South Africa has 3 more minutes.
Thank you. In the opinion of our coalition, that all procedures which should be taken are written there, but we are ready to take amendments to our resolution and to work out more specific clauses if each state needs. Because as you know that that each country tries to make the situation in their territory better. So, in our opinion, this resolution should be taken and and have some points to it. So we are open to questions.
Thank you, Honorable Delegation of South Africa. There are 2 minutes left for questions. Are there any questions to the speaker? Mexico.
You mentioned that all states of the United Nations shall help this issue financially and in the way of providing youth fortresses and camps for migrants. Is that right?
Honorable Delegation of Mexico, could you please speak up?
In your resolution, you have mentioned that all the states of the United Nations shall participate in your resolution by providing financial help and new fortresses and camps for immigrants.
Honorable Delegation, 1 second. I would like to remind the whole committee that we now do not have any resolution. We have only working papers. So, yes, please, name it correctly. So, is the question clear?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
In the opinion of our coalition, not all states have to provide this. Is the decision of every state, but we urge us to do it because, as you know, that in every state different situations have happened. So each state should have some camps to provide in further situations. And according to the financial system, we know that there are different financial systems. So, in our opinion, this should be decided during the government work. Is it okay?
But Honorable Delegation of Mexico, are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, but I guess one more question.
Okay, so are there any other questions to the speaker, the Delegation of Turkey?
Are there any problems between migrants and citizens of the states where migrants will be situated?
Is the question clear?
Do you mean that now?
Oh, sorry. Is the question clear to you?
Not really.
Okay, Honorable Delegation of Turkey, could you please clarify the question?
Is there any social borders between migrants and citizens of the countries?
Is the question now clear?
Thank you.
Great.
I don't think that social borders should be done because, as we know, that all people are equal and refugees should live their life in the countries which they move to, like every citizen of the countries where they stay.
Thank you, Honorable Delegations. Are there any other questions to the speaker? Mexico, please.
Does your working field in Mexico have a lot of problems with illegal immigrants too as well? So we wonder if your working paper somehow affects the immigrant situation in Mexico, not only in the Mediterranean.
Is the question clear? Thank you.
Yes, of course. Although the issue is about Mediterranean Sea, our coalition has decided to point out the situations in other countries.
So,
thank you, honorable delegates. No dialogue, please. Are there any other questions to the speaker? United Kingdom.
Thank you for your speech, South Africa. The delegation of United Kingdom has a question connected to who is going to have financial help for migrants.
Firstly, of course, the governments need to do it as they can do it and as they can afford to do it in different levels. But moreover, it's some non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and moreover, it's the charity of other people, and or moreover from the civil societies.
Thank you, honorable delegations. Are there any other questions to the speaker? Mexico.
Well, back to the question of financial support. So, as you can see in your coalition, you don't have to seem a lot of great big financial countries with big financial potential. Do you have any agreement with some investors to your working paper program, or you're just basing on charity programs?
Mostly our commission is based on charity programs. As you can see, that many countries which are in our coalition doesn't have enough financiers.
Thank you, Honorable Delegation of South Africa and Mexico. Are there any other questions to the speaker? The delegation of Turkey.
Do you already have a solution for Syrian crisis?
Could you please rephrase the question?
Is there any solution for Syrian crisis?
Is the question clear? Yes. From the view of the war in Syria, in our opinion, it's not the constitution of the ECOSOC, because the main idea of is the issue of Security Council. But as for their Economic and Social Council, the solution can be solved by terms and body systems.
Thank you, Honorable Delegation of South Africa and Turkey. Are there any other questions to the speaker? Sweden.
Dear delegation of South Africa, thank you very much for your speech. I have a question. Does your working paper foresees the giving the migrants jobs?
Honorable Delegation of South Africa, you have 10 seconds to answer this question.
Yes, of course, our condition has these topics, and moreover, we suggest to provide immigrants with jobs, because in many countries there is a lack of problem and direct.
Honorable Delegation of South Africa, your time now has elapsed. Thank you very much. Round of applause. And right now, Honorable Delegation from the General Assembly, the Delegation of Philippines, please leave the room. Thank you very much. And right now, we'll have speeches for and against this working paper. So, the first speech will be for, and the Delegation of Vietnam, please. Yes, sir. Honorable Delegation, you now have 2 minutes.
Our coalition would like to bring to your attention the working paper number 1, where we try to satisfy the interests of most countries to finally come to consensus of opinion. Also, we would like to find the most effective and productive measures to solve this problem. And in our working paper number 1, we watch such measures, such points as education for migrants, their accommodation, migrants integration, fight with xenophobia, points on broken places, etc. In our opinion, the migrants should have the same rights as the native population, and the entire community should provide dignified level of life. So we think that the entire world community should solve this problem very, very quickly, and because this problem is really acute and needs quick solving. Our main goal is to unite and to find the best solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Delegation of Vietnam. You have 40 more seconds. Would you like to use this time to the Presidium or to some other delegation? I would like it to leave to the delegation of Lebanon. So, Honorable Delegation of Lebanon, you have 40 seconds.
We would like to outline that the delegates that working paper number 1 consists of a great variety of points which view many aspects of the problem. The working paper number 1 is more complete and exact. If implementing these actions into life, the problem will surely reduce its intention.
Also, the working paper number 1 does not emphasize to any particular state to solve the problem. It calls upon all the members to take actions, so suffering countries would not be left to deal with it alone, and other countries would not be allowed to neglect it.
Thank you, Honorable Delegation of Lebanon. Your time now has elapsed, so please take your seat. So the next will be speech against working paper number 1. So, Chad. For the delegation, you now have 2 minutes.
So we can start? Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, our delegation wants to vote against this project. So maybe you want to ask us why. Because it's one of the best resolutions that we have ever seen. Don't you think that authors of this document really wanted to solve the problem of migration and refugees in the Mediterranean basin? Furthermore, they found a solution for all other problems which are so important for us today here in ECOSOC. So, honorable delegations, vote against this project, please, because it's so ingenious. Don't you think like this? Thank you, honorable delegations. Thank you, honorable President. We believe that you will keep one's ears open.
Thank you, distinguished delegate of Chad. You have 1 more minute. Would you like to yield your time to some other delegation, maybe?
We want to keep our tempi.
Thank you, honorable delegation.
Depressed.
And so, the next one will be the speech for this working paper and the delegation of Lebanon. So, honorable delegation of Lebanon, you now have 2 minutes.
We would like to also mention that our delegation and our working paper gives a lot of opportunities for refugees to have work, to have good living in those countries in which they're coming to live.
If considering which working paper is better, I would say that if you had a chance to look at the working paper more clearly, it has many documents which we refer to. That's why we have we prove that all the actions that we take are legal, and therefore it will contribute to all countries in solving this problem.
Thank you, honorable delegation of Lebanon. You have 1 more minute left. Would you like to yield your time to the presidium or to some other delegation?
We would like to give it to Vietnam.
Thank you, honorable delegation of Lebanon. Delegation of Vietnam, you have 1 minute to speak for this working paper.
Thank you very much, the delegation from Lebanon. In our working paper number 1, we provide a lot of quantity of different measures that will satisfy all countries. We would like that it will be the truth. And if you want to make corrections on our working paper, we welcome this because we want that to find the most effective solutions for this problem. And so that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Delegation of Vietnam. We have 14 more seconds. Would you like to yield this time to the Presidium or to...
I would like to give this time. We would like to give this time to the delegation of South Africa.
Delegates, our delegation has already said a lot of different things, but in our opinion, we should stay here in order to solve one of the most important issues of nowadays, the issue of migrants and refugees, the people who don't have their places.
Thank you, Honorable Delegation. South Africa, your time has elapsed. So a round of applause. We now have considered working paper 1 and we'll proceed to considering working paper number 2. So right now our honorable expert will read out loud working paper number 2.
The Economic and Social Council concerns about the situation in the Mediterranean basin as well as the growing number of refugees arriving in Europe in the period from January to October 2017, recalling all the resolutions, decisions, regulations, and contracts adopted prior to this meeting, including the York Declaration for Refugees and Migrants adopted by the General Assembly on 19 September 2016, International Convention relating to the status of refugees, the Statute of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees adopted by Resolution 428 of the General Assembly on 14 December 1950, the Dublin Regulation adopted in 2003, the Protocol relating to the status of refugees, the Convention relating to the status of refugees adopted by the Conference of Plenipotentiaries on the status of refugees and stateless persons established in accordance with Resolution 429 of the General Assembly on 14 December 1915. Strengthen the importance of respect for the protection of the human rights and fundamental freedoms of every person, including migrants. Recalling and mourning all victims of armed conflicts in the Middle East, determined to contribute to the solution of this problem, emphasize the seriousness of the problem of irregular migrants, calls for fighting across the world in a non-violent way, calls upon the international community in this regard to continue to provide urgently needed assistance, especially emergency assistance to all migrants, recognizing the need for an immediate solution of this problem, calls upon all member countries of the UN ECOSOC to fulfill and comply with all the commitments made in the New York Declaration for Migrants and Refugees, calls for considering the issue because of its exceptional importance, recognizes the need for a competent distribution of migrants as a way to stabilize this process, appreciate the efforts of the volunteers who provide assistance to refugees, calls for concentration on giving workplaces to migrants so they could improve the quality of life and develop the economy in the country of their destination, recommends to carry out a fair policy on the treatment of migrants by compulsory observance of the refugees and humanitarian law, recognizes the need to develop a cooperation action plan to address the problems of irregular migration, calls to unload the places with a huge number of migrants to the specific points of the state which can provide jobs in Europe region, Latin America, and Mexico. Note that the migrants will have an opportunity to choose places of staying due to personal preference from special list of countries which will be established by the UN. requires funding the projects to unload in the places of migrants from the budget of IOM and from the budget of other countries at will. Note that in case a country makes voluntary provision of the budget, it allows the country to ask for percent from successful economic activities of the migrants in a new country. Emphasis on the importance of protecting persons in vulnerable situations, and in this regard encourages all states to develop international migration policies and programs that include a gender perspective in order to adopt the measures necessary to better protect women and girls against dangers and abuse during migration. Encourages all states to prevent and eliminate discriminatory policies and legislation which deny migrant children access to education at all levels of government. Urges the states to ensure that arbitration mechanisms allows to identify and protect people in vulnerable situations, including persons with disabilities, and to take into account the principle of the best interests of the children and family reunification in conformity with the international legislation and commitments. Welcomes immigration programs adopted by some countries that allow migrants to integrate fully into the host countries, facilitate family reunification, and promote a harmonious, tolerant, and respectful environment, and encourages states to consider the possibility of adopting these types of programs. Calls for the native population to start productive fight against xenophobia.
Thank you, honorable expert, on the applause for this bringers of the stage. And right now, there will be the presentation of this working paper, and the delegations who would like to present the working paper, the delegation of Belgium, and 2 speeches for and 2 speeches against. Any delegations who would like to speak for Turkey and the United States. Any delegations who would like to speak against, the delegation of Mexico and the delegation of Chad.
Honorable Presidium, distinguished delegates and chairman, our coalition expresses that we have to create all necessary conditions for the fulfillment of plans and programs that have already been proposed through raising the international community's awareness of the crisis. Our coalition stands for conflict resolution in the country of Syria and to provide all the necessary support for all migrants moving to the territories of the states of the European Union. We would like to present you our working paper, which includes several amendments on the topic of migration throughout the world. Our coalition, first of all, stands for the support of all the countries which directly faces with the consequences of the migrational process. All of the states of our coalition provide different supportive needs, not only for the migrants and refugees, but also for the countries which accept them on their territory. We also stand for non-violent method of solving the current problem. We stand further on the cooperation of all the countries. We stand on the provision of all the migrants and refugees from throughout the world. We suppose that our working paper includes the most actual amendments which would help in the salvation of this problem. Our coalition hopes that we will be able to achieve mutual understanding with other states and coalitions. We count on your constructive criticism in the discussion of the paragraphs of our working paper. We would like to accept all of the suggestions about editing or adding new amendments in our working paper. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, honorable delegate. And we now have 1 minute and 47 seconds. Would you like to yield this time to any delegation or to the presidium?
Yeah, I would like to pass.
Or you might pass this time for asking or answering questions.
Yes, I would like to. We would like to answer all of your questions in the written form, and I would like to pass the speech to the delegations from the United States of America. Thank you.
Honorable delegation of Belgium, do you consider this constructive? The presidium supposes that it would be better to answer questions right now.
Well, fine. We're ready to answer them right now.
Okay, so that is accepted by your delegation.
Yeah.
Okay, that is great. Are there any questions to the speaker? The delegation of Japan.
In your working paper, you say
that you will have fair policy for migrants. But what policy you will have? What you made for migrants?
Is the question clear?
Yeah, it's pretty clear, I guess. So, the countries from our coalition provides all the necessary support for all the migrants from throughout the world. They provide them not only with financial support, but also we give migrants some working places and accommodations and so on. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable delegations. Are there any other questions to the speaker? Delegation of Iraq.
Thank you for your speech. You know that there are a lot of migrants worldwide, especially Iraq migrants, and so that's why we have a question. Do you have any special procedures for helping, especially children of refugees, to reunion with their families?
We actually don't have this amendment in our working paper, but we would like to add them, edit. Standing for on your suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, honorable delegations. Are there any other questions to the speaker, the delegation of Mexico?
Yes, in your working paper, you were talking a lot actually about considering and recognizing the problem. You're calling for solving this problem. That's a little abstract for us. We don't see the particular way provided by you by which to solve this problem.
Well, thank you for your question, honorable delegate of Mexico. But in our working paper, we have several amendments, which includes the some different ways of supporting all the migrants and refugees.
Thank you, honorable delegations, and I would like to remind the honorable delegation of Belgium that there are no amendments yet. So in your working paper, you have points or clauses. Okay. So, are there any other questions to the speaker? The delegation of Vietnam.
Thank you for your speech. You didn't mention the point of accommodation the migrants. How will you comment it? And what will you do to solve this problem?
Our country provides different camps for the migrations, and we suppose that all the countries which participate with us in our coalition would do the same thing.
Thank you, honorable delegation. Any other questions to the speaker, the delegation of South Africa?
Thank you very much for your work, for your draft. Our delegation has
I'm sorry, there is no draft yet.
What do you mean by calls for the native population to start productive fight against xenophobia? How are you going to solve this problem?
Is the question clear?
Yes, it's clear.
For the delegation of Belgium, you may answer the question right now.
We persuade the native people to understand the problems of the migrants or refugees and to
For the delegation of Belgium, have you finished answering this question? That's great. Any other questions to the speaker? South Africa?
The other question is that there is calls for fighting first of all in a non-violent way.
Honorable committee, please come to order. We cannot hear the delegation of South Africa.
Yes. The next question is calls for fighting first of all in a non-violent way. How are you going to cope with it? What specific measures are you going to take for it? Because I haven't seen, our delegation hasn't seen this in your working paper. Thank you.
Is the question clear?
yes, it's clear.
So you have 14 seconds. 9 seconds. 6.
Sorry. Are we able to answer
Honorable
this one?
delegation, your time has elapsed. Are there any points or motions on the floor? The delegation of South Africa.
Our delegation proposes to prolong speaker's time to answering questions for 3 minutes.
There's the right of Where's the right of prolongation or without? Are there any other points or motions on the floor? The delegation of the United Kingdom? Without the right of prolongation. Without the right of prolongation. Or with the right of prolongation. Okay. Honorable delegation of South Africa, do you consider it as friendly? No. Okay. Any other points or motions on the floor? The delegation of Chad?
You prolong the speech for 2 hours with right.
This is unconstructive. Thank you, Honorable delegation of Chad. Any other points or motions on the floor? The delegation of Mexico? This is the motion of the United Kingdom. 1.5 without the right of prolongation. Over. Okay. Honorable delegation of the United Kingdom, do you consider it as friendly? Any other points or motions on the floor? Delegation of Chile?
The right to prolong the speaker's time with 1 minute with the right of prolongation.
Okay. Any delegations to consider this motion friendly? South Africa? Okay. So right now we'll consider the motions. The first one will be the motion from the United Kingdom to extend speaker's time for 1 minute without the right of prolongation. Are there any seconds to this motion? Any objections? So right now we'll vote on this motion. Those who are in favor of this motion, raise your backwards and click on high. Those who are against, so this motion clearly fails. Then we'll consider the motion proposed by the delegation of Mexico for 1.5 minutes without the right of prolongation. Are there any seconds? Okay, any objections? Those who vote in favor of this motion, raise your placards. Those who are against, this motion clearly fails. And so the motion of Chile to prolong speaker's time for 1 minute with the right of prolongation. Are there any seconds? Any objections? Okay, those delegations who vote in favor of this motion. Those who are against. This motion fails. So I would like to ask Honorable Committee, are there any other points and motions on the floor? Delegation of Chad?
To prolong the speech of Kurds for 2 minutes without prolongation.
Okay. Any other points and motions? Lebanon? We have already considered such kind of motion. This is unconstructive honorable delegation of Lebanon. So we'll consider the delegation of the motion of the delegation of Chad to go speak aside for 2 minutes without the right of prolongation. How many seconds to this motion? Any objections? Those who vote in favor? Those who are against? So this motion clearly fails. And right now I would like to ask honorable delegation of Belgium to take their seats. Member motions on this topic. Thank you. So now, honorable delegation asking the delegation of Turkey to pronounce in favor of this project. Honorable delegation of Turkey, you now have 2 minutes.
Delegation of Turkey would like to know how many working papers delegation from Republic of Chad have seen. We're pretty sure that they haven't seen a working paper number 2, so their opinion is unconstructive. Shame on you.
Honorable delegation of Turkey, and finished your speech?
Yes.
Great. Would you like to yield your time to any other delegation or to the Presidium?
I would like to yield my time. We would like to yield our time to United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
That is great. Thank you, Honorable delegation of Turkey. You may take your seat. Yes, South Africa, what do you have? Honorable delegation of South Africa, what do you have? Is that a point or a motion?
It's a point to delete the delegation of Turkey from this.
There is no such a point, Honorable delegation of South Africa. Thank you. So, Honorable delegation of United Kingdom, we have 1.5 minutes.
As far as you can see, the countries in our coalition have a great financial potential. So, consequently, our suggestions will have an immediate and impressive result on dealing with such a challenge of migrants. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable delegation of the United Kingdom. We still have 1 minute and 20 seconds. Would you like to yield your time to the Presidium or to some other delegation?
I would like to give to Sweden.
Okay, Honorable delegation of Sweden, you have 1 minute and 20 seconds.
So, dear delegates and committee, our working paper explains the problem of migration and tries to solve this problem not only in the Mediterranean basin, but also all over the world. Yeah, our resolution, our working paper is rather constructive and short-spoken, but our main goal is giving the refugees and migrants jobs so that they could improve the quality of life and develop the economy of the country of their destination. Our working paper is supported by the majority of delegates, and that underlines its importance and preference.
Thank you, Honorable delegation of Sweden. We still have 45 seconds. Would you like to yield the time to the Presidium?
To Belarus.
Okay, Honorable delegation of Belarus, you have 45 seconds.
We want to underline how completely and clearly complied this working paper. It takes into account all nuances that can arise during solving the problem of irregular migrations in the Mediterranean basin. Besides, this working paper meets all human and refugee rights, which is a very important aspect. The program offered by this working paper allows migrants to integrate into the population and culture of country in which they immigrated. Support this resolution if you are really excited about the problem of irregular migrations and the fate of migration.
Thank you, Honorable delegation of Belarus. Your time has elapsed. I would like to ask you to take your seat. And so, we'll next listen to the speech against, and so this is Mexico, and 2 minutes for this delegation to speak against this working paper. Honorable delegates, please no cross-talking, come to order. Okay, so Honorable delegation, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, although you have a lot of financial potential, I'm putting under the question your partnership between some of your countries in your coalition, for example, United States and Russian Federation.
we assume that this partnership will not be reliable and won't last long. Besides, you have a point in your working paper where you called to unload the places with a huge number, it's a quotation by the way, of immigrants to the specific points of the state which can provide jobs in Europe region with Latin America and Mexico, quotation ends. Well, as I know, there was no improvement from our side. Although you consider it as a point of your working paper, we're still recent with the fact that you added our country to the list without our permission. And beside, moreover, we're confused with the abstract ways of deciding of solution to the problem. We don't see the point of there are two. The number of points is too small for us. We don't get the idea of your working paper. It's too abstract for us. Well, I guess that's it.
For a brilliant speech. You have still 28 seconds. Would you like to yield this time to some other delegation or to represent you?
I'd like to yield my time to South Africa.
Yes, that is in order. So, Honorable Delegation of South Africa. You now have 28 seconds.
Honorable delegates, thank you for your draft, but we still have a lot of questions about this. At first, we don't understand the idea of recalling mourning all victims of armed conflicts in the Middle East. How about the other regions where the same situation happens? It's quite abstract. We don't have the answer to the questions. Calls for fighting first of all in a non-violent way. Don't you think that they should be put in the preamble at least? Then it's about some countries. It was mentioned.
Thank you, Honorable Delegation South Africa. Tema has a lot. So the next speech will be in favor of this working paper, and I would like to welcome the delegation of USA here to speak for this working paper. So you now have 2 minutes.
Good morning, honorable delegation, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody knows how important the content of working paper is. We hope that through listening our working paper points, the delegates will understand the high way of solving the problem without water and deviation.
Our delegation would like to notice some essential items and explain them. Firstly, the cooperation between all countries will stabilize the migration process, and therefore it will lead to the strengthen the international relations. Secondly, the fight with the violent actions to the migrant will protect the human rights, which is very essential nowadays. Moreover, the financial support from such countries as USA, China, and Cameroon will improve the financial position of migrants, and therefore it will lead to the development of economics in different countries. Also, the item about emergency assistance will prevent a great number of deaths of the migrants. Moreover, the 12th item about the employment